All right, we are live. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Mindset Ministry Mastermind. I'm Amber DeBevitt, coming to you from Key West, Florida, the southernmost point in the United States. And this is a mindset training that we do every single Saturday morning at 10:30 Eastern Time in the morning. And it's open for everybody. This is value for you. This is success training that you can apply to your life in any single aspect that you want to. I never really talk about myself. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but I'm kind of practicing, just telling just little pieces of my story. And for some of you that might not know who I am, like I said, I'm Amber from Key West, and I've been studying the mindset principles and mindset for about, I don't know, a few years, 10, 12 years, something like that. And mindset is something that you can apply to every single area of your life. And mine started with addiction. I'm a recovering addict, drug addict. I was, hopeless, a stay-at-home mom, strung out on drugs. Before that, I practiced. I was very good, very, very successful in my using career for 23 years. And I've been recovering, a successful recovering addict for over 10 years, about 11 and a half years now. And I have used this mindset training to actually overcome addiction. And I've also used it, believe it or not, in, of course, the success area. I'm a marketer, by trade. I've been marketing for a long, long time, offline and online. And what I used to do with this, though, I used to always read Think and Grow Rich. And I would read it every year when I would go out ready to go do my sales. My sales presentations were only annually, believe it or not. So I would whip out my Think and Grow Rich book, which is right here, my tattered, this is about 13 years old, my Think and Grow Rich book. And I would pull it out every year and I would read it. I'd read it in the bathtub, I'd read it everywhere to get my mindset strong. And it worked. It really got me, pumped and strong and ready to go out there. And face rejection, because that's lots of times what we have to deal with in, sales. And it would also program me for success. I was so much more successful and didn't even have to face that much rejection when I got into a positive mindset. So, and then recently, in the past year or two, I've been in the online marketing world. And let me tell you, this is like coming home. If you've been looking for your mindset peeps, your family that studies this kind of thing. When I found out about the Think and Grow Rich call, that all of us have met on, Paul Hutchings' call that we were on every morning. When I found out about that call, I was like, hallelujah, I am home. I couldn't believe it. I had found like the people that were studying the same things that I was, and I was so, so excited. And I was like, sign me up. I'm joining whatever company, and that was non-company specific, that call, and so is this. Totally non-company specific. Everybody that's on this panel that you see live is from different companies, and we don't really mention them because it's not what it's about. But we do apply these principles like in our businesses. So, I'm always thrilled to have people that are on the panel with me. And I just want to introduce everybody really quickly so that you know who's here. So we have Dave Gross, who's from Florida here. Say hey, Dave.
Good morning, Amber. Thank you for having me on, and thank you for this call.
Great, glad you're here. Thanks for coming. We have Don Walker. Hey, Don.
Good morning. Thanks for having me again. And I met one of you last week, but I don't think I know the gentleman with the hat. I forgot your name.
Well, here we go. We're going down the line. So this
okay.
is Markel. This is Markel from Chicago. Are you in Chicago right now still, Markel? I know you're on the road. Where are you?
No, I'm in Carpentersville right now. It's like 2 hours outside of Chicago. But good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Grateful to be here on this panel with these great people, and we're about to mastermind and get some minds right.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're here, Markel. Markel's one of our original members. All right, and now we have the awesome Pass Simpson. Hey, Pass. Good morning.
Good morning, Amber. Good morning, everyone. Happiness Engineering.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming. So like I said, most of us actually know each other from the morning phone call, and that's kind of how this started, just so you know. I was jonesing for more mindset on Saturday mornings because the call is only Monday through Friday. And I also wanted to be able to study a little more in depth. So that's what we're doing here. This is a more in-depth study of the 17 Principles of Success by Napoleon Hill. We're studying out of the Science of Success workbook. And it's from the book called Your Right to Be Rich, which was the very last thing Napoleon Hill did before he died. And him and W. Clement Stone, who was his manager, came up with Your Right to Be Rich, which is actually a correspondence course. And you can find the Audible and the video, or the audios, and actually lots of videos on YouTube where he's talking about these principles. And we are on controlled attention this week. We're on part 3. We've been, sorry, I keep kicking my desk. We've been studying controlled attention, which would be focus, and for 3 weeks now. And we still probably have 1 more week left, because this is one of the ones that you don't want to skip over. I mean, this kind of goes hand in hand. They all go hand in hand, but this goes hand in hand with definite major purpose and focusing on our definite major purpose. And it actually incorporates all of the previous principles that we have studied, come to kind of a peak here with controlled attention. And you'll see in the second half of the training today what I'm talking about. So without further ado, I'm going to go to screen share. We're just going to read actually one paragraph right now. I like to kind of break it up into sections that are cohesive to each other. So we are, because the second half is really long. So let's just see. I'm going to read to the bottom of page 35. And let me make it a little bigger so everybody can read it with me. Or a lot bigger. It's a lot bigger. Is that okay for you guys?
Looks good to me.
Okay, cool. Hopefully it won't disappear in the middle while I'm reading it, because it did that last week. But that's okay. We recovered quickly. So, all right, right here. It says, over caution is as bad as no caution. It makes observers suspicious. That's interesting. We see evidence of conflict in every mind, but particularly in the minds of the people who never seem to be able to make up their minds about anything. Opposing negative and positive forces are in combat with one another in every mind, except in the mind of the person who has taken control of his or her mind and has forced the negative influences out. That right there is the end game. That's what we're all about here right now, this whole entire Hangout series. The emotions of fear and faith, for example, are so unfriendly that both cannot possibly occupy the mind of a person at the same time. One or the other will dominate. You can determine which of these two emotions will dominate your mind through controlled attention, held steadfastly by the strictest self-discipline, concentrated on the attainment of your goals, and supported by faith. And just so you guys know, when you see something in bold, that is one of the 17 principles, except for universal law. That's just like probably the principle overruling everything. The discussions of the preceding principles have described how they are influenced by and depend upon controlled attention. In this section is a summary of all of the principles relating to controlled attention. There is a universal law, or a law of nature, whereby like attracts like. It is known as the law of harmonious attraction. Because of its operation, energy, and matter that are suited to each other, or that are suited to each another, I don't know if that is supposed to be right, have a natural tendency to come together. Let me see. Because of its operation, energy, and matter that are suited to each, I think it's supposed to be each other, have a natural tendency to come together. I don't know. If you will master and apply the 17 principles of this philosophy in your relationships with other people, you will benefit by the law of harmonious attraction. Your mind will become conditioned to attract to you only people and material things you desire. Moreover, if you will eliminate from your mind all conflicting emotions, such as fear, envy, greed, hatred, jealousy, and doubt, you can prepare your mind for the application of the principle of controlled attention. If you apply this principle, you will come to know that it is costly to be forced to combat the unfriendly forces of other minds. It is fatal to your probability of success if you neglect to conquer the unfriendly forces of your mind. Now, I just wanted to read that part and discuss real quick, because that is pretty much the key to having a positive mental attitude. And since some of you, there's a lot of new people watching right now, excuse me, and some new people on the panel, and usually everybody that's on this panel is a practitioner of the principles of success or of mindset training, and so that's why we're pretty selective of who we have on the panel. So we do have some really great people. I always look at everybody's Facebook profiles and check everyone out to see if they are into mindset training, because we want to offer value to the people that are watching, you know, so that you can get a lot out of this. But you know, this part that we just read, you know, was talking about basically how the mind, you can't have faith and fear. We kind of all know this, hopefully, that faith and fear can't occupy your mind both at the same time. So you're either going to be living in fear, which means you haven't cultivated your faith. And when we use the word faith, we have to be very careful, because there's so many connotations to faith, you know. There could be religious faith, spiritual faith, and then there's another faith that I kind of term it like an energy faith. And everybody's open to choose their own type of faith. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. But one of the ones that I'm teaching some of my people that I sponsor recently is, this is just a little aspect of faith, is acting as if, you know, acting as if we believe and we know, all right, even if we don't believe it, acting as if we know that everything's going to be okay. You know, whatever situation we're in right now, if I could just, even if I'm just faking it, like, but I'm not, but I tell people, you know, just fake it, just say, I know everything's going to be okay. Just tell yourself, I know everything's going to be okay. Whatever situation you're in, if it doesn't feel good to you, you know, you can say, I know this is so uncomfortable, but I know it's going to be okay. I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be, you know, a better person after going through this. And that's, believe it or not, that is faith in action. Even if you don't believe it at the time, it's faith in action. It's just telling yourself everything's going to be okay. So that's the aspect of faith that I like to focus on in this context that we're in. It's non-controversial, has not, you know, it gives everybody else the freedom to choose their own point of faith. And faith and fear can't exist at the same time. So if we're telling ourselves that we know everything's going to be okay, that's aligning our thoughts in the positive direction, because we're working on positive mental attitude. And there's no room for fear in there when we can, you know, cultivate that faith. It talked about the other principles and everything, which we're going to get to after this. But I want to hear what you guys got out of that little paragraph that we just read. So let's go to Pass. Because I saw you nodding your head, Pass. So you look like you were getting something out of it. Oh, you're muted. Hold on, unmute yourself.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Faith is a word that I deal with all the time. Belief, actually, is a word that I'd love to talk about. I don't care who you call God. I don't get into, you know, trying to separate us from religion. You know, if you call God, let us. Call him something and humble yourself. You know, but belief is the key, and faith is the key for all things. You know, you cannot be afraid. There's a difference between danger and fear. You know, you can see that gun in your face. That's dangerous. You don't have to be afraid that he's going to shoot you, because that's fear. You know, there's a difference. You know, I walk into any situation and just smile, you know, because I know that I am blessed and highly favored. I believe that. I am faithful in those words, so I can live and give from that place. Once you make a decision that something is going to be, you have to work to make it be. See, faith without work is still going to leave you unhappy. So if you make your decision, like I made a decision to be a happiness engineer, I won't allow anyone to steal my happiness, you know, because it's mine, you know, and just like it's yours. So you must be truly in tune with yourself. And I think most faith comes with meditation, you know, because you can pray. Prayer is necessary. That is a reach out. but you must reach in to feel it. You must reach in to tap into it, to live it. You must reach in to experience it, because you have to experience it first within your mind and then within your outer being, excuse me. So that was just some of my thoughts on faith. I can ramble on this forever. Me and Markel will tell you that, So I'm going to pass and let someone else talk. If you need me on this one, I am here. I got hours and hours of faith.
Thanks, Pass. Yeah, it's actually my favorite subject too, believe it or not. And I just said that because we're talking about belief. But I also want to concur with you on the meditation. Meditation, I think, got kind of an interesting rap, the last few years. People thinking of the gurus, levitating, and meditation is so such a huge part of actually attaining success in every area of our lives. It's communicating. It's they say prayer is talking to God, meditation is hearing, is listening. I feel like that's how we hear like God's will for us, or our intuition, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, is where our guidance system is. So meditating tunes us into that guidance system that has our best interest in mind. And the new Russell Simmons book, Success Through Stillness, that he just put out, and you guys probably all know who Russell Simmons is. He's a huge advocate of meditation, and it's a fantastic book. I got the audio on Audible, and I listen to it all the time, and it's really helped me to cultivate my meditation practice recently, and I'm loving it. Wait till you guys have to hear it. You have to get that book. So, all right, let's go to Markel. Hey, Markel.
What's up? What's up? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Pass, man. Every time I hear you talk, bro, it's like I just get happy. I get happy instantly. Couldn't help but smile. But the most powerful line for me was, like you said, Amber, faith and fear cannot exist at the same time, right? And that's powerful, because once you really understand that and you really take that in, right, you will know that fear and faith are both users of the imagination, right? But what a lot of people do is they only focus on what's real, like what's reality, what's going on in front of them, what's going on around them in their environment and their surroundings. But once you use something like your imagination, right, you can use that for fear or you can use that for faith, but you can't use them both at the same time, right? So to elaborate on that a little bit, right, faith, right, is having that undeniable belief that something will take place. Fear is the same thing, right? Some people have faith in faith, some people have faith in fear, but you can't have both at the same time. So you can choose one deliberately, right, and just keep building up on that, keep conditioning yourself to what you want to happen, right? You can condition yourself for faith, or you can stay in the default thinking and always think in terms of fear. So we definitely have that choice, and me, I choose faith, and that's what I got so far.
Thanks, Markel. Yeah, exactly. Our mind is so powerful. The energy of our mind can manifest, physical things in our lives. And for some reason, the mind is so obsessive. There's like there must just be so much power and energy in our minds, and it's so obsessive that whatever we focus on, we create. We're co-creators of our lives. And the normal default setting for the human mind seems to be the negative side, seems to be negative. That's like the default switch. You just flip it on automatically and it goes right to negative. Well, when you start practicing, consciously to change I always say make the decision to change your mind. And that's what we're doing here, is we're exercising and redirecting the default switch so that our default switch is positive, you see. And that's the difference. That's like the wake up. That's what we're doing here. We're changing our default switch to positive so that when our mind, our very powerful minds, focus, they're focusing on creating something positive for our lives. And that's why you have to have a definite major purpose in the background and in the foreground to focus on, which is the controlled attention we're practicing here, so that what our minds are focusing on is something that's so productive for us and so positive that we're guaranteed to create positive results in our lives in every single area. You know, it's success, our physical health, our mental health, our spiritual health, you know, just our world around us will be positive. So this is why it's so, this is like the answer, this is the most important thing in life as far as I'm concerned. So let's go on to Don Walker. How you doing?
Good. You hear me?
Yep.
Cool. Well, I got something, and the fear and faith thing is just, oh wow, it's never ending at all stages in life. Everyone goes through it daily, and regardless of whether people tell you regardless of the success you have, it's something that's ongoing because it's just the way the mind works. But you know, as far as the controlled attention and the self-discipline part, you know, where energy where the focus goes, energy flows. So it's that constant, you know, battle where you can control every thought. So like when people they're negative, they're fearful of things, a lot of times it's based on some type of past conditioning or past experiences that they relate to, and that fear starts to manifest even greater. So they either think of something of an idea that's associated with a lack or some type of failure, and then they start to manifest that thought. So when it comes to like having faith, a lot of times, you know, being in the sense that you said, Amber, that we have to be co-creators of our reality, we have to attach ourselves to some type of, you know, positive outcome, as in acting as if, as you said, we have to look at someone who's either had or attained something that we want or already in that place, and we have to associate ourselves with that placement and that outcome. And the way to do that, as far as with self-discipline and controlled attention, is that we align ourselves with the right people. We continue to read and associate with the right material and books and audios to continuously reprogram our thoughts, and always being in that position to be able to control those negative thoughts to increase the amount of belief that we have. And you know, I find it very interesting because when you go to social media and you're in the news feeds, you see a lot of people that may, you know, post a lot of negative stuff. And now it's I used to actually comment on a lot of that stuff, but now I run away from it, because what it does is it allows a doorway open to my consciousness, and then having to respond back to it. So I just let it go, and I just focus on what I need to positively focus on, and my wall and my post. And now if someone comes and engages on what I have and they're negative, I can either, I have the support from you know, good following or friends, associates that helps them with that. But I find that happens as well, how we have so much control. We have so much control of what we do, and yet people don't realize the power within themselves of that, the power itself to be able to do exactly what we want, you know, whether it be focus on fear or faith. And it's just amazing how it's a simple thing that we have the ability to grow or not. So that constant, you know, development of what should I be focusing on to maintain a positive mindset and grow it, it's just the basis of that. So that's just my evaluation of it. It's just principles and fundamentals that we have to keep building on to get to the outcome that we want. Because, you know, everyone that's wants something, they have a desire. They have a desire, and desire is either going to give you faith or fear, because it's either the belief that you can attain what you desire, or the fear that you can't, or fear that you feel like you lack something, or the confidence, or, you know, lack the skill set, or lack the belief of fear of success. So those things that we have to manifest and have belief that we can acquire those things, the outcome of what we're seeking, is the common denominator here of what we're looking to attain. So that's kind of my feedback on that.
Excellent. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it. Yeah, definitely we have to protect ourselves from negative influences that can, you know, infiltrate our field of perception. And I actually unfriended someone off of Facebook yesterday. They weren't really, you know how we have a lot of people kind of following us or as friends but someone put a post up that was just so controversial, and it's one of those ones that you just want to comment on, I found myself, and I never do, I never comment on those, but the second I want to, I'm like, I got to get rid of this guy, and I unfriend it, and it feels so good. I love doing that. It's so liberating. So I embrace it. It's just loving myself, So all right, let's go to David. Hey, David.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, great input from everyone so far. I'm loving the feedback and what you guys are saying, and it's right on, I think. One thing that Dom mentioned as far as social media goes, like, we don't have to concentrate very hard to find negative out there in the world. It is just a completely free. It's just out there, right? Everywhere you look, you turn on the TV, you go out in public, people are just, that's just their natural makeup. And I don't think we're meant to be that way. We're not created to be negative, but our world just is overtaken by it so much. And I think controlled attention and meditation, I think meditation is the epitome of controlled attention. I think that's where it all starts. Like, for me personally, I've been in around the home business industry for the past 10 years and had seen success here and there, but one thing that I've never done until the 30 for 30 challenge, some of you know what I'm talking about, was read a good book for 30 days, listen to a good audio, and then meditate or quiet your mind for 30 minutes a day. And I have never in that 10 years ever done that before. I've read the books, I've went to the seminars, I've done seemingly everything, but the one thing that was missing was this controlled attention. I didn't concentrate my thoughts on the person that I wanted to be, and yet it was so blatantly obvious, but I've never heard it put quite the way that we learn on the Think and Grow Rich calls, on the way we learn here from Dr. Napoleon Hill and the likes. And so for me, that's been the biggest game changer, I guess, is really concentrating my thoughts, as it says in the self-confidence formula, is to concentrate our thoughts for 30 minutes daily. And I've read it and I've started applying it, but I wonder, how many people do actually read that self-confidence formula and don't apply that just concentrating our thoughts for 30 minutes daily on the person we intend to become. And it can't be, sometimes I do it when I'm driving around or I'm walking the dog, but I find the most effective way is when I actually sit down and get my mind quiet, and whether it's listening to a little meditation guidance to get me in that space and to clear my thoughts, and then I can focus on that person, because thoughts just come, right guys? It's not something that we don't have to again focus on thinking. It's natural, but we do have to focus on slowing down, concentrating, and that to me has been just, it's making all the difference in my life.
Yes, thanks, David. Exactly. What I've been doing lately is I'll set my timer on my phone for 15 minutes, and I'll sit in a chair, straight, and make myself close my eyes. And my big rule is I just can't open my eyes for the 15 minutes. And I have it set in my phone also. I think I have 11 o'clock and 5 o'clock for my meditation times, and I set it for 15 minutes on both ones. In fact, I just downloaded an app that rings that little bell, ding, that meditation bell. They have an app for that, of course. And but I just started doing this myself as well. I've been studying mindset for years and years, and meditation is not foreign to me, but I had never actually practiced it. It was too hard to control my thoughts. But I think since we're on controlled attention, lots of times the universe works in our lives for whatever it is we're focusing on. Well, obviously, always, but I noticed that whatever principle we're practicing on this hangout, I can apply like whatever else is going on in my life to that principle. So I want to just throw that out there to you guys, the people watching, and to you guys here on the panel with me today, is to pay attention as we go on like the rest of the week to what's going on. If you can apply like what we're learning today to stuff that's going on in your life, and when we come back next Saturday, maybe you'll have some examples. I guarantee you're going to find some stuff. It always happens. It's very interesting. The laws of the universe. So, and in fact, they called it, what did they call it? The law of harmonious attraction. Cool, right? So, all right, so let's get to the second part. Great stuff from everybody. I love it, love it, love it. We are going on to talk about the preceding principles that led up to where we are. So it's kind of long. I don't know how long I'll read it for. Let's just see. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Can you guys see it? I hope so. Okay. Peace within your mind is not a matter of luck. It is a priceless possession that you can secure to yourself only by self-discipline based upon controlled attention. So these are the steps to controlled attention. Without a specific goal in life, you are as helpless as a ship without a compass. Observing the law of harmonious attraction leads to the application of the principle of controlled attention. The steps to achieving controlled attention are realized through the application of the following principles, just as success can be seen as a series of steps synthesized in the subsequent principles. The steps to controlled attention are: number 1, definite major purpose; 2, mastermind alliance; 3, applied faith; 4, going the extra mile; 5, personal initiative; 6, self-discipline; 7, creative vision; 8, accurate thinking; 9, learning from adversity and defeat; 10, enthusiasm; and 11, pleasing personality. We're probably going to read through maybe half of these. Okay, step 1, definite major purpose. The first step toward controlled attention is found in the first principle of this text. This principle is related to every other principle in this philosophy. Through its application, you can determine your purpose for living, set your goals, create a success plan, and then proceed to concentrate the major portion of your thoughts and efforts towards living out that principle. Okay, step 2, mastermind alliance. Hold on a second, let me get a little bigger for you. Okay. Having adopted a definite major purpose and concentrated your attention upon achieving your goals, you will take the next step by forming a mastermind alliance with others who have the necessary skill, experience, and education, and who have been supplied with the necessary motive to help attain the object of your purpose. The mastermind alliance intensifies the application of the principle of controlled attention, for it creates a powerful mass psychology that gives you increased faith, self-reliance, imagination, creative vision, personal initiative, and the will to win. You will keep moving in the direction of your definite major purpose when you associate with others who will lend you friendly aid and encouragement. If you choose to work alone, your progress may be slowed and impaired. You are more apt to become discouraged and quit. Step 3, applied faith. When you have adopted a definite major purpose and surrounded yourself with a mastermind alliance, you demonstrate faith in your ability to attain your objective by persisting in active endeavors to attain your goals. Thus, the power of faith is combined with the principle of controlled attention, giving it an irresistible power. By the time you have taken this step in the development of the principle of controlled attention, your mental attitude has become predominantly positive. Many of the self-imposed limitations of fear, doubt, and discouragement have disappeared, and you have no room in your mind for thoughts of failure. You are so busy carrying out the object of your purpose that you have no time to hesitate or procrastinate, nor do you have any desire to do so. Step 4, going the extra mile. The application of this principle ensures continuous action, for it brings into operation another powerful law. The law of increasing returns. This law assures that through your extra mile efforts, your results will be greatly multiplied. This law creates added momentum behind your efforts and inspires enthusiasm and faith on the part of your Mastermind Alliance, as well as in all others who are related to the attainment of your goals. The habit of going the extra mile also serves to modify your mental attitude by making it more positive. While this habit may not always bring immediate direct material benefits every time, there is no doubt that it has the effect of creating goodwill and the friendly cooperation of others. Thus, it serves as fuel to feed the fires of controlled attention. I'm going to read this last one. Step 5, personal initiative. Through the employment of personal initiative, you organize your success plans. Then, with the aid of your Mastermind Alliance, you test your plans for soundness. By this time, you will have a basis for faith in the ultimate success of your plans. Thus, you will move with self-reliance that practically defies opposition. You will no longer be held back by fear, doubt, or indecision. When you take the next step in consolidating your gains by applying the principle of this philosophy, you will be taking one of the most important steps of the entire 17 principles. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's a lot. There's Aaron. Hi, Aaron.
How you doing, Amber?
Hi.
I missed you the last couple weeks. I had computer and internet issues, but I'm back.
Oh, I'm glad you've been working on your issues. I see you in the car. I'm going to come back to you in just a couple minutes, okay? Because I want to go to Don Walker because he has to leave because he is a committed martial arts teacher. He's awesome and amazing, and we want to let him give us your thoughts on what we just read and whatever you want to say, Don.
It's a lot to. I mean, it's we didn't even go over all of them. It's just crazy how much content those first 5 steps pertain to, because it's a clear path on what we need to focus on, and it's actually good. I'm going to go back today and read through those again, because it's things that we do. We repeat the process over and over. So what I got from it mainly is just that the outline of what we need to do, and things that we may be weak on, areas or topics where we need to maybe put some more flame to the fire on that one particular step, something that we may have been focusing on and go back to. That's kind of what I took from it, because there's so much to do when it comes to goals, setting and discipline and things we do. It's like I'm having only a couple minutes here to go, and staying in a schedule, but also focusing on our outcome. It's like things that we need to change to get to our outcome that would hinder us, and taking an evaluation. So like what I do personally with stuff like this is I take a weekly evaluation. I usually evaluate where I am at the end of the week, what my goals were, look at like my adversities, look at my setbacks, things that like either hindered me, evaluate what I could have done differently to attain my ultimate goal, and also set new goals for the next upcoming week. So throughout the weekend, it's a good time for me to reflect on what I want and whether I attain that goal. Did I achieve that goal? Did I go above and beyond that goal? Or did I have a slow week? Did I have a week with adversities? And I just think about it. I meditate on that, and I focus on what could get me to some better consistencies. What things should I work on to get me to that streamlined, consistent path? And then I implement those things, those ideas, and I also try to weed out. I focus on what I need to weed out of my week, what I needed to eliminate out of my week that's either taking my time, taking my energy away, my focus, things that don't serve me, things that take away my time as far as the way I think, things that my surroundings. Like you said earlier, it may be deleting someone, unfortunately, someone that's negative towards you. You can only carry. I mean, what's the saying? You can't carry. You can get an army. You can lead an army, with you, but you can't carry 2 people on your back. I mean, sometimes we find ourselves throughout the weeks like that. We're putting everything we have into it, but for some reason why, you know, the week is not going as planned. We're more, you know, we're exerting our energy, you know, too much, and we're having to really sit back and say, what am I not doing here? So like going to these steps helps to give us a framework, an outline on like what's maybe limiting, what's where the weaknesses are. So that's my take.
Yeah, good points, Don. Thank you very much. And I know you have to run, so just my hair. Feel free. I'm always fixing my hair in here. Feel free to hop off anytime you need to. So we appreciate you being here, and hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, everyone have a great weekend. Thanks again for having me. These conversations are very, very deep, enlightening, and I hope everyone that watches these videos gets a lot of value, because I am personally, just being here, getting a lot of value from everyone on the panel. So thank you again.
Awesome. Thanks, Don. Take care. Cool. So yeah, I just wanted to just reiterate really quickly, because I was thinking the same thing when Don was sharing. I was looking at the list here that you know, I was reading. It was definitely, you know, things that we need to be implementing at the exact same time, really, up until controlled attention. So it was definite major purpose. We have to have our definite major purpose. To me, that was one of the hardest things, actually, and we're going to go back to that one. We're going to do a hangout. As soon as we finish controlled attention, I think we're going to go back to definite major purpose, do that one again, and then continue on. Mastermind Alliance, you know, the Mastermind Alliance doesn't always come into our lives right away. You know, those are people that you can feel your energy rise when you're around them, and that's how you know you're in the company of someone who could be one of your Mastermind Alliance partners. I've actually been praying for that, and I do have 2 people that have shown up in my life, and my God, my energy, my ideas and thought engines start just churning like crazy when I get blessed enough to receive those people. Applied faith, have to have applied faith. So I asked myself, which one of these am I not doing like I could? You know, going the extra mile. That's when I could always plug in more. Personal initiative, self-discipline, and then there's creative vision, accurate thinking, learning from adversity and defeat, enthusiasm, and pleasing personality. So let's see, Pass. How about you? What are you thinking there?
Oh man, excuse me. This is amazing. I love these principles. My whole take on just applied faith, and you know, it's amazing because I've come to this understanding recently that every moment in life should be enjoyed. There's no part in life that should ever be unhappy. Even the challenges are enjoyable. There's any time that you complain, you steal a blessing from yourself, because the blessing might have just been the lesson. And it's been one of these. Mark Keller's been on this journey with me recently, so I love to share this. When we go through and go through our controlled attention, you know, my controlled attention is on happiness. So since I call myself a happiness engineer, I'm always focused on being happy. So in my world, there are no negative words. There are no good or bad words. They're just words. Your words can teach me, or they can't. You know, so your words to me become my own application. So if you are giving negative words, they're either motivation or they must be a joke. They gotta be a joke, because you just couldn't know. You know, so it's not my, Proverbs 23, I'm also very spiritual, tells you, do not waste your words on fools, because it'll only get them mad. That's also where you'll find, as a man thinketh, because it tells you how to get into the kingdom of heaven. Kingdom of heaven isn't somewhere in the sky. It's actually part of your life, and then you go. So, as a man thinketh, tells you what you think about. So what you think about, you bring about. So since I think about happiness all the time, I'm always happy. So when you focus on whatever you choose, my major definite purpose is to teach and enlighten everyone to be happy. So whenever you make that decision, whatever it is, God gives you all kinds of new ways to express and go through it. Like on a day when I didn't know what to do on a Saturday morning, Amber showed up in my life. And that was just my controlled attention of being happy and sharing and loving. So I say to everyone, whether you're listening, whether you're on the panel, make a decision to be in control of yourself, because the greatest things in the world start with self-esteem, self-confidence, and you can name a whole bunch of other great self things, but they all start with self. So if you have self-control, yes, and smile, self-control, no one can then shake your self-confidence. They cannot truly boost your self-esteem. What they can do is add on to your energy or teach you, but you are in control of everything else. So you can control when you send people to planet blah blah. When people start speaking negatively, where they start going into these phases, I put them on planet blah blah, and that's my little planet where they speak in my favorite comedian's voice. Sometimes they're Eddie Murphy, sometimes they're Kevin Hart, sometimes they might be Richard Pryor because he's in the dead and I loved him, but they speak in his voice and I can laugh. I may laugh aloud, I may laugh in my head, but they have no control over how I feel because it's self-control. I just wanted to throw that out there. I'll hush because I can always go on for hours, but I love everyone here, so I want to learn a little bit.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, Pass. Yeah, like I say, make a decision to change your mind, and happiness, you talk a lot about happiness, and I think that's why working on this kind of mindset training, where we're training our minds to be focused on positive thoughts, that's where happiness, this is just my own personal opinion, comes from. If someone hasn't taken possession of their thoughts and they're only still thinking negative thoughts, there is no way they can be happy, or we can be happy. I know that because that's how I was. I mean, my default mechanism in my brain and my mind was negative for so many years. That's why I was in the throes of addiction, But once I got clean and got all that stuff out of my body and my mind, and I was able to gain possession of my mind again. Because so many people are slaves to their mind, prisoners of their own mind and their thoughts, And it can start right here, right now. If you're watching, if you're watching us, we are teaching you how to cultivate a positive mental attitude. And when you can do that, you can direct your thoughts to the positive realm rather than out of the dark side. And, the light starts to open up and you will be able to achieve happiness. I mean, that's got to be the ultimate thing, happiness. So I'm glad everybody who is watching, I hope you're taking notes and that you're going to come back here week after week with us. Let's go on to Markel.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Powerful, Pass, powerful. But I want to say that, it all starts with a major definite purpose. Without a major definite purpose, right? And when we live in default, we just accept whatever happens, whatever comes our way, whatever circumstance come up, whatever just floats our way. But controlled attention is basically taking reality and knowing that it's reality, and then controlling your attention to live the life that you want to live, living your dream, basically. So I feel like this, right? When you can control your attention, you can control the circumstances that happen to you, you can control whatever comes to you, right? Versus just thinking and being in default, right? Because there's so much stuff that's asking for our attention. There's so much stuff that demands our attention that'll throw us off of our focus, that'll throw us off if we don't have a major definite purpose. If we don't have something, if you don't have a major definite purpose, then you have nothing to even control your attention to. So it all starts with a major definite purpose. You got so much stuff that's out there that you can focus on, so much stuff that's outside of yourself, that is external, that has nothing to do with you that you can put your focus on, like a negative person, like a job that you don't like the TV, all of these things that's asking for your attention. If you don't control your attention, then what you're doing is, like I said, you just allowing stuff, right? And I made it a major definite purpose for me in 2014 to not accept anything that I do not want. I will not settle for anything that I do not want, right? Whether if that's a thought, because it all starts with a thought. If I have a thought that I don't like, what I do is I'm conscious of it. So what I do is I immediately switch it out. I immediately replace it versus it was a time when I thought that, I had no control over my thoughts. I was thinking in default. I was letting external things control my attention. I wasn't controlling my attention. I was letting my attention be controlled by things outside of myself. But taking this personal development journey, the spiritual journey, everything starts within. Like, the world is not out there. The world is in you, right? So everything that happens out there started inside of you first. So if you see some things that you don't like outside of yourself, then you know that you can immediately change it by going on the inside. And that's what I got. So thank you, Amber. It's a pleasure to be here. And I wish Don was still here too, because I wanted to tell him about that weekly evaluation. Like, that's a new idea for me. I'm gonna start doing that myself.
Yeah, that is a good idea. Definitely. I was thinking the same thing when he was talking. That's why I started looking at those. Thanks, Mark Hello. Appreciate it. We're going to go to David here in a second, but one thing I wanted to just mention, I talk about my addiction and blah, 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 and that was usually not something that I ever mentioned to anybody, believe it or not, but I am really super involved in recovery, and I, help a lot of people. I have 5 women that I work with right now, and helping them to overcome their adversity. And it's so funny, but the reason I start mentioning it on here is because, of course, that's part of my story. It's a huge part of my story, but I realize that it is one of the 17 principles of success, overcoming adversity and defeat. So that is one of Napoleon Hill's principles. With every adversity, there's a benefit, a seed of benefit. And my benefit, my strength, has come from my overcoming, my addiction. That's what, my mind is so powerful, and that's why, because I worked so hard on it. And I like to just share it with everybody, because I want everyone to really get this. And recovery, and believe it or not, this whole home, business, profession, entrepreneur world are very similar, very, very similar, spiritually and psychologically. It's really cool. So that's why I meant that I mention it, and the other reason I mention it is, of course, if there's ever anybody watching that can relate and identify that maybe I can help, feel free to reach out to me. So, all right, let's go on to David.
Hey guys, again, great thoughts from everyone. I'm getting a lot, and including what Don said earlier about that weekly evaluation. That's something that I will definitely start implementing, because I think it's a great way to kind of see where we are instead of waiting a year until New Year's to see what happened and doing that evaluation, but doing it weekly. So definitely something I got there. One thing I would like to comment on is Pass and Markel had mentioned, making a decision to harness self-control. Pass said that. Markel says it starts with a definite major purpose, and it does. But I think a lot of people who may be watching this, can be an intimidating thing to think about, if you've never done anything like this before. Where do I get my major definite purpose? How do I start to harness that self-control? And I just want to comment on that I think that it's something that will come with time, right? It will come with practice. It will come with applying these principles, and it's not something that you're going to get overnight. And for me, as I mentioned, I've been in this industry, around this industry for over 10 years, and I'm just now starting to really listen, because I found some of these calls and I found some of this information and really applying it in my life. But it's a journey. To me, it's not something that you're going to erase these negative thoughts in a day or a week or maybe even a year or two. It's going to be a continuous process, and I don't think any of us will ever get to that perfection. I think all of us will always have opportunities to improve. We'll always have places where we can get better at, as Paul Hutchings always says. There's always room for getting better. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there, because that can be an intimidating thing. And I know it was for me. It's like the first few days I meditated and my thoughts just kept coming from all over the place. I couldn't control it, but as you do it more and more, it does start to get a little bit easier, and you start to kind of figure out what works. And so I just wanted to throw that out there. The one principle from these few that we went over this morning was that I've always enjoyed and I've always loved, is the going the extra mile. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that, if you look around, most people just don't go the extra mile. They clock in at their job. They leave at exactly the time they're supposed to leave. They come in maybe even a little bit late. But how many people do you see coming in early, staying late, and then, as Jim Rohn says, working harder on ourselves than we do on our job, and then just giving back? And again, this mastermind principle goes back, or the principle goes back to the mindset of not expecting anything in return with regards to going the extra mile. I think that's a big one. Again, when I do go the extra mile, and again, I don't do it all the time. I'm not perfect, but when I do, I don't do it out of expectancy that I'm going to get something from it. I just know that this is shaping me, the person that I'm going to become through that process. So that was one of those things that I always look for opportunities to go the extra mile, because so few people do.
Yes. You know what, David? Thank you so much. And I'm so glad you brought that up. I have been experiencing that this week, not with myself, but I have a part owner of a company here in Key West, and we have an employee, that works for us, and we have been paying that employee so much more than what they're giving us, and I was okay with it for the longest time. And all of a sudden this week I woke up and I was like, you know what? It doesn't feel good. Like, the value that's being exchanged is so out of balance, and I just can't take it any longer. And I'm definitely going to make a change with that. And I'm really looking forward to it. And if I hate to say they aren't going the extra mile, but I've allowed and accepted that in my business, and now I'm not allowing it. Like, I just woke up and said, that's not okay anymore, and it doesn't do that person any favors either. Allowing someone to give less than they're getting isn't helping them either. In this universal law, they're not attracting to them what they could if they were being, by me co-signing and enabling them to not go the extra mile, is how it's been. So I'm looking forward to firing them, but I'm not quite sure how to say it. I know that doesn't sound good. But it's all, and I'm taking full responsibility for allowing that to happen for so long. So
maybe they're watching this today.
I know.
Get something out of it.
Surprise!
The best way to handle that firing situation, because I also know how that goes. Being a manager of some traditional businesses currently as well, is, like you said, just take a little responsibility. This isn't working for us. I've seen this for a moment, and it just don't feel good. I tell people truly how I feel. But I don't know the state of Florida laws. Pennsylvania is an at-will state, so I don't have to keep you around if I don't want to. So, but because we're all, in our situations, I tell everyone this is a family. What we give is what we get, So what we give is what we get. So if you give nothing, you get nothing. But if you give more, you'll get more, because we're all in this together. So I just say, Amber, in that firing situation, just take a little bit of responsibility. Say, hey, this is my business. I don't like it. Don't feel good. You know, sorry to let you go. That doesn't feel good either, but it'll feel better for me in the morning.
Right. Or I'm going to allow you to go the extra mile by cutting your pay in half.
Yes.
Mhm.
You can give them some real options before you let them go, to be honest. You know, like, this doesn't feel good. I see what I've been doing. I see what you've been doing. You know, you can accept this or you can take that. You know, I like that option always better too. Like, then you're not really firing them. You know, like,
Right.
I've been fired from many jobs, and most of the time it's because I don't like the boss. You know, if the boss came around 3 days in a row, I usually put myself in a firing position. Because
Uh,
I always felt like I should be the boss.
Oh,
But
that's funny.
that's just
Thanks.
my life.
Thank you. All right, now you guys, a couple of you might not know Aaron. This is Aaron Riggs. He is our resident comedian, and he's very entertaining for me. He's been out of commission, I was worried about him actually. He's a regular on the panel here, but he was just out like the last 3 weeks, almost a month. I don't think I've seen you, Aaron. I mean, I know I was on vacation one week, but I was actually very worried when someone drops off the planet, which means to me I haven't seen them on Facebook. You know, that's dropping off the planet. I get so worried and concerned. I start looking up their family members and messaging their family members. Are they okay? Because you just never know. So I was really worried about you, and I'm glad to see you're here and you're in your car. Having internet problems. It looks like you froze up, so I don't know if you can hear me. Are you there? Can you? He's kind of there. Aaron, are you there?
I think I'm back now.
Okay.
It's kind of skipping off with the internet problems I'm having. But
Okay.
you know, Amber, thank you so much for keeping in touch with me. Are we getting audio?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. You know, because the adversity thing. Had some issues with the PC, had some offline situations that required my focused attention, and also on my definite major purpose, going the extra mile. Not necessarily the top level major purpose, but some of those smaller steps that are longer term. Like my master's degree. That's one of the things that, as I'm moving along, I want to get my master's degree, and that requires a certain level of regular employment. And I actually was focusing my attention on getting the ideal job, which would be with a tech company where I'd had the opportunity to learn anything I want and go in any department, a growing new company. And been focusing some attention on that, been focusing on the adversity of no computer and internet. And basically found out that, yeah, I had to go the extra mile. I had to go the extra mile to get my computer back up and running. I had to go the extra mile, to get back onto these mindset meetings because my internet at home is giving me real bad problems. So I had to get in the truck, drive over to somewhere where I can get some wireless and do the broadcast. With my offline things, some adversities happened, and it ended up being, a learning situation. Like Pass, right? Is that your name? He was saying, about you got to have that mental attitude, that positive mental attitude, that positive mindset. And I found that the adversities that I was faced with, if I didn't allow that adversity to become negative and kept a positive mindset, said, oh, this is a learning experience, this is a growth experience, I had the internal self-reliance, to go that extra mile and say, okay, this is an adverse situation, but I'm going to be happy about it, and I'm going to take the effort, focus my attention on going the extra mile. Same thing with this new job that I got, is really, thought about it. I had a couple opportunities in a marketing company, in a data entry position, but this position is an intern with a manager, and it's a network center, a database center. And so I can learn all the physical hardware, software, different aspects of the billing, of the management, of the platform they're on, and I'm given the opportunity to basically build my own position within the company. And that's going to take some more self-reliance, some more focused attention. And even the meeting we had, yesterday at work was about going the extra mile, about the hourly employee mentality, which it seems you're having an issue with your employee, and the ownership mentality of, I actually own this thing. I actually have the responsibility. I may not be the reason that this and that's happening within the company, but as an owner, it's about having the responsibility to take charge, take action, and take care of business. Get her done. Whether or not you know how, figure it out. And that has a lot to do with the mindset. And this weekly mindset Mastermind Alliance is so much more than information. It's inspiration, it's support, it's learning, it's growth. And yeah, sometimes there's a little adversity. You got to go the extra mile to get to the internet, but in the end, it's all worth it because it's a personal growth experience. And rather than relying on the outside world to be that benefit, you learn that you rely on yourself. You rely on that inside to basically shine that out to everywhere else, everyone else. One of the things I like to tell people is, hey, when I smile at them, I go, hey, when you give out a smile, it seems by the end of the day, you get 1,000 smiles back.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true, because that person smiles at 2 or 3 people, and by the end of the day, that smile's gone viral, and everyone you see is smiling. And the same thing can happen with negativity, but it's about, that self-control, that focused attention to say, yeah, let's do it. Let's be positive about this adversity. So yeah, I know that we're running late, so I'm gonna quit rambling on here. But it was nice to meet Pass and David. You had it's nice to meet you and Dawn. Some new people in the group. It's awesome to see new people coming in. And Amber, thanks again so much for reaching out to me offline. Because I had this online issue going on the last the week before and the week after the 4th of July. I don't know if you did a 4th of July broadcast, but those 3 weeks I know I missed, and it's been kind of different without the support of the mindset, without the mastermind there to kind of be support. I actually had to do the self-reliant thing, the last 3 weeks of bringing that positive energy, by myself, from myself, which was another growth.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Aaron. That's great stuff. I'm glad you're okay and practicing these principles in all your affairs. That's what it's all about. So we're gonna sign off here. We're out of time, but I want to thank everybody for watching. I want to thank the panel for being here. I hope that you guys can make it back every week if you can. We're here every Saturday morning live at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we do post the replay. It's on my YouTube channel. Everybody that's here is welcome to share it. Share it with your friends. Tell everybody. I think this is something that everybody can learn from and benefit from. So I'm Amber DeBevick, your mindset ministress, and I'm encouraging you to make the decision to change your mind. So we'll see you next week. Bye.